Okay, it's Atlanta's #1 hip-hop station, Hot 107.9 and home for the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Of course, you know it's your folk, B-High. Radio, shouting, stepping in the building. I got my Tennessee fam in this thing. Starlito, what's good with it, my dog?
What's happening? What's happening? Appreciate you.
Hey, man, you already know what time it is, man. When you're in here moving and grooving in the A-Town, you know you got to come round, Starlito.
Already.
Now, I mean, for the fans and the folks that don't understand, I mean, talk to me about just moving and grooving in the city and getting the job done while you down here, man. What brings you down to the A, boss?
I mean, that's where it's happening at. It's big business. There's a lot of opportunity, you know. Black Hollywood, as they say sometimes. But I got family here, so I'm always here. I've lived here off and on my adult life, so I love Atlanta.
I can definitely dig that. I mean, speaking of that Atlanta connection, though, man, I mean, you and that boy Jeezy. Can we take it back to the top with it, man? When you came in there with that Grey Goose, what was that like getting in that Trap or Die mix with that banger, man?
I mean, yeah, it's a part of my story. I think my journey is an incredible one, and I feel fortunate to be here. I feel blessed. Survived a lot of eras of rap music and otherwise. Like I went by All Star then.
Yeah,
you know, I had a single Grey Goose with Young Jeezy and Yo Gotti in like 2005. It was on Trap or Die. And yeah, it was fun times.
I can definitely dig that. I mean, but what was going through your mind at that time, jumping off the porch with it, though, man, as All-Star, trying to make it do what it was supposed to do and then catching that wave and introducing folks to a whole new sound, though, man?
I mean, it was just like those humble beginnings, the beginning of my career. I learned a lot. It was, like I said, fun.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I was able to learn a lot along the way. You know, I seen a lot of people come and go, a lot of people fall off and things like that. So I feel like fortunate that my learning curve was so steep and so like fast, you know.
It'd be like that for all of us, man. I mean, coming into the game, though, man, at that time with that learning curve, like you saying, being steep, what were some of the things that allowed you to be able to persevere through those things early on, though? Because, see, a lot of folks, if they come into the game and it's a brick wall in front of them, they say, you know what? They try to find a little weakness in it, then they say, you know, forget this, I'm about to turn back around and go back home and hit the trap. So what was it that made you stay down?
Just like I saw people fall off, I saw a lot of people make it. You
That's
know,
right.
it was like things that I couldn't have imagined for myself early on in my career. And it just kept me wanting to prosper, it kept me striving. And that's what it was all about, was getting away from all of that and trying to outgrow it and transcend it. So once I saw it was real and possible, like maybe that was the first time that I had my name attached to a check or something legitimate. You know, that was enough, like to give you, that was enough promise to give you the faith or the hope to keep going if that's what you're in it for. And then along the way, my music started to appeal to people and touch and reach people in ways that I couldn't have imagined. So really that keep me going more than the financial part, but it's my livelihood too. Exactly. And I'd rather do this than other things I've done.
Exactly. Now, I mean, I need with that boy Yo Gotti, man. What was that time like, man, when y'all boys was jamming?
It was fun. It was like school. It was like college or grad school. It's just another level, you know. You learn what you learn along the way, just on a life level. And as business goes and in this music game or in show business, you know, you're going to learn one way or the other, so you buy some of your lessons and otherwise. And like I said, my learning came with a lot of fun. It came with a lot of, like, experiences, and yeah, there's a lot of history there.
I mean, share some of those experiences, though, Starlito, because, see, for that average youngster that's sitting back watching this right now, they want to know what they got to look forward to, good and bad.
I mean, I couldn't call it for anybody else. I think you get out what you put in, and that might sound like a cliche, but just as far as karma or whatever you believe in, I just believe whatever energy you put out there, it'll return to you. So if you put your all into it, like, you can get what you're looking for out of this. If your effort is halfway, you're gonna get halfway results. And so, like, my experiences, like, I would rub shoulders with a who's who of Southern artists, almost like royalty in rap, and was right there or right around it and soaked some of it up and was able to run with it as an independent artist. But that was one of my goals. That was, you know, one of my ideals. So that worked. But, you know, the Yo Gottis and other people you mentioned, like, I just feel fortunate to be a part of that story in whatever way, or vice versa, just crossing paths on this journey.
Exactly. I mean, speaking of the Dirty South royalty, though, man, I mean, you got folks like Cash Money, too, man. You crossed through there one time. Talk about that transition and just being able to, soak up some of that game from over there and run with that.
Uh, that was all the situation you're talking about was kind of the same time period, the same era of my career. Like
Yeah.
like I said, I was going by All Star. I had a production deal through Yo Gotti's imprint with Cash Money and Universal Motown,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened. That was the same time Currency was there.
Yeah.
We have a lot of laughs about it these days.
Yeah. I mean, what is that like though, man, with you and folks like Currency when y'all done came up in the game together and then been able to stay down with it independently and make a strong name and have a strong base and be able to tour and have a fan base that then kind of grew up with y'all at the same time though?
I mean, that's kind of the joy of it, is being able to hold your own, or have your name hold that kind of weight, or have your face card stand up and survive the times. Because we in the times now where you one slip up away from really tarnishing whatever you might have built up or whatever reputation you might be holding on to. But I think the era we started in, the eras we came up in, is more about being who you are, and that's why a lot of people don't make it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I would credit like the entire journey to it. You going through what you go through, you learn early enough, you can bounce back from it.
Yeah. Now, when you think about the music, though, man, I mean, how much of the journey do you feel like you give to the fans? Do you feel like you give them enough, or do you feel like you just touch on certain topics in that struggle or in that journey to piece it out to the people?
As far as my career goes,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll be a book. It'll be a great book one day. Maybe I should give somebody the pieces to it.
Yeah.
While I'm still able-minded.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I value my privacy, and I'm a discreet person.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the way things work don't really work for me per se. So I guess I'm guarded in that regard. I don't do a lot of interviews. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a person of few words, probably outside of the booth and whatnot.
I feel that.
But that's just me being a person, because I'm not a persona.
Mhm.
It's like I do offer my personality in my music, but I'm not like putting on a front or trying to perpetuate something else. And that's even like as you grow up within this thing, your views on things change. Like, I listen to probably old stuff and cringe a little bit because I was younger and I thought differently of different things.
Exactly. What is that like for you, though, man, when you realize that you've grown so much during this time?
I mean, it's just a awareness. Like, I think
Yeah.
you either growing, learning, or you dying. Like, it might be extreme ways of looking
No,
at it.
those are facts.
But to say I'm growing, or to be able to chart my growth, or look back and see how I've grown, is like, remind me I'm alive. Or, remind me I'm human, or we constantly changing or evolving.
Now, I mean, when you think about that Starlito's Two-Way album, man. I mean, Starlito's Way 2 album. Talk to me about that. And what was it like putting that album together, man, at that point in your career when you was thinking to yourself, you know what, it's time for me to bring the funk one more time to these people and let them know that I go ham,
I mean, at the time I dropped Starlito's Way 2, had its 10-year anniversary this past December. I'm aging myself in my career, but
You still here, though.
for sure. But at that time, like, I didn't think I was gonna be here. Like, it's ironic you would say that. Like, I was going through things that it made me feel like that might have been my last project. So at that time, everyone I perceived to be great had done a double disc project. So I wanted to do one of those.
Yeah.
In case I'm not around, or might have been locked away or whatever. I was just living like that at the time. So.
What the hell was going on in these streets, Starlito, that had you thinking to yourself, you know what, it's real out here, and this might be my last body of work that these folks gonna get.
The streets, like
Yeah.
you said. I mean, it sound good on the beat and in those songs a lot of times, but the streets ain't nobody's friend.
Exactly.
Being real, so I was caught up in that, and I say that in the worst way.
Yeah.
Like, so as an artist, I poured what I had into my craft at that time, and honestly, that kind of became my practice or my way. I stopped listening to other people.
Yeah.
Kind of just coming into my own as an artist, like becoming one with all of this, like, and I give people what I can. You know what I'm saying? As far as trying to be transparent or whatnot, that could get you in trouble depending on how you live.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, with that being said, the way you articulate your life leads me to believe that you're still a Renaissance gangster, though, Starlito. Yes, sir. It leads me to believe that, man. I mean, talk to me about the gangsterism, man, and having to throw the Renaissance in front of it, though.
That was a project I did with Atlanta's own DJ Byron one.
Yeah, that's my dog.
Yeah, he produced the entire project.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just about same thing I'm saying about changing, about growing. Like it's things that we probably grew up thinking, oh, this you a gangster if you do this, or this makes you gangster. It was just introducing a different context. Like you can be educated, you can be yourself in whatever room you're in. Like that makes you a gangster.
Exactly.
Like, conforming and doing what's programmed in your head to be cool. Like that ain't. There's another gangster tell you to go, shoot somebody. Like that ain't really where it's at per se. Just
No, I agree with you 1,000% on that, because a lot of times in this game, when you look up with folks, I was just talking to Fiend the other day, when you are not coming with the popular opinion, people don't want to hear it. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and sometimes the truth is just not a popular opinion. So when you spin them facts on them doggone tracks, what is that like for you when you know that this might not be popular, but I'm telling these folks, and it might not even be what they want to hear, but it's what they need to hear, and the real is going to understand and recognize what I'm kicking to them right now.
I more or less count on who it relates to. Like, I feel like I'm able to survive off being relatable.
Yeah.
And that's to say, if it may fly over, not you necessarily, it may fly over one person's head, it may fly over 10 people's head and land right in somebody else's heart.
Yeah.
And for me, that makes it worth his while. Like, because I can sleep at night feeling like I was true to myself, or I ain't just, desensitize somebody else or give them some, false sense of what it is out here. Like, I've lost friends, lost peers to the street life. So
exactly.
My take on it is a little bit less than happy-go-lucky, as you might say, just because of what I've seen. But I can, the truth don't change. So keeping it real with somebody, I feel like I did my part, especially when people relate to it.
Talk to me about that integrity, though, man. Because, see, what you're talking about right there is being able to sleep at night. And a lot of folks can't sleep at night in this game because they know they lost their integrity the second they step through the door. You see what I'm saying? So to be able to hold on to it the whole time, that's a battle and a struggle. That's a whole nother fight that people don't even really understand that artists go through, or people in the industry in general go through. Is just keeping that morality together and holding on to that integrity. So, I mean, keeping it real with yourself. Well, with that being said, I mean, being at war with yourself. Talk to me about that.
I'm dropping the sequel to that this May. At war with myself, too. I thought that was interesting what you were saying. Because it is a battle. And I think we all fight our fights, maybe with demons or within or whatever. Just whatever you might be going through, addiction. And it's like personal battles. It's the things that people may not see or hear about or even know about.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just trying to bring that out in a lyrical form or put it into the music, like it's ongoing.
Yeah.
Because it's times when maybe you're at the peak of success or popularity, and maybe you feel your lowest, or you feel like you from the inside out, are getting the least out of it, or you running yourself ragged or thin by just going through the motions. So it is a constant war, and it's in the pursuit of peace. I guess as good wars, I'm fighting a good fight, I guess you could say. So hopefully sometime after that I'll follow with a peace with myself, or I can reach that point.
That'd be cold. That'd be cold. Now, I mean, what you was talking about earlier about the feelings behind it, I mean, felt like giving up. Another banger. I mean, for those out there that feel like giving up, man, what was going through your mind at that time, and how were you trying to relate to them through your own music?
Just a feeling of desperation. Like, I think anybody that's on any level hustled, desperation is probably the purest form of hustle. And like they say, necessity is the mother of invention. Like, I believe that because, from experience. So I'm putting that into my lyrics at the time of being able to make that song. It's because I didn't give up. It wouldn't have been a song. It wouldn't, so even though articulating that, like people will express the power in it, like hearing it from somebody else. Like that's what I'm doing it for, not just a, song and dance and just it's really experiences, from the soul. Um,
How do you feel though, Starlito, when you hear from your fans and they tell you them songs that really touched them? You see what I'm saying? And kept them alive and kept them pushing through in them times. How does that affect you?
it keeps me going.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly like it's probably like the yin and yang, like whatever I'm offering them
Yeah.
through that song, be it hope or whatever, they offer me the same, just in the knowledge that that it wasn't in vain, or that it had more of an impact than I could have known or intended. That just makes me want to return with even and be that much more impactful, or use my gift or share my light in a whatever manner, because I already see is it's in the right direction or it's capable of being prosperous. So
Exactly.
it means a whole lot.
I mean, speaking of sharing your life though, man, I mean, those visual projects that you drop. Talk to me about that and see, because it's one thing to hear, but it's another thing to see. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And actually giving folks those visuals to be able to see deep inside and understand what you got going on, man. Break that down to me.
It's a sign that we got a camera in here now.
Yeah.
Like you said, seeing is believing a lot of times, and some people are more visual than audio. And like, even though I make music and it's about the lyrics and whatnot, sometimes to be able to bring that to life is just a whole nother level. It's another level of depth, of understanding. And like, even as a kid, I can remember watching certain music videos, and it helped me to understand how people were living or how it wasn't necessarily that different than where I live.
Yeah.
Because I could see it.
Exactly. I mean, the visual though that I gotta hit you with that for my foes visual. I look at the rap game as a Ponzi scheme. Can you break that down to me, man?
I mean, it's about who you know, what you know, and,
Yeah.
and same way this country and whatever else. We don't go too political, but
I feel you.
it's that. It's simply that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that easy to survive as an independent artist.
Yeah.
And it's probably easier than it used to be.
Yeah.
With the times. But at the time making that record, I just kind of felt like it was you're either in or no, or you're on the inside looking out, or the opposite as far as the industry goes.
Yeah.
And it was like a clear divide.
Yeah.
And because I managed to still prosper and survive on the outside of it, like I was just calling it for what it was. It's like
Exactly.
people, at that time I felt like it was more difficult to break into the industry if you weren't ignorant. It's almost like the more you knew, the less people
The more they
want to
keep you out.
Right. The less people want to work with you.
Yes.
It's like you asking the wrong questions or you know too much kind of thing. And that will end up being your detriment.
What goes through your mind when you raised in the world, Starlito, where your parents is telling you right is right and wrong is wrong, and if you do right, you should get the right outcome. Then you go into a game where you try to do right and you start getting the wrong outcome for doing right. What's going through your mind right then?
You gotta conform. I mean, but like you said, without compromising yourself, compromising your integrity. But it's like it's just surviving.
Yeah.
Survival instincts and hustling. It kicks in because, I mean, just don't play yourself, but don't sell yourself short. That's kind of what was my pep talk for myself along the way. Like understanding it, even from the streets, and as cutthroat as people could probably imagine the streets to be, you're in an industry where people do it with a smile, with a suit and tie, or with a layer of lawyers in between.
Yeah.
It's just like it's no win almost. You know what I mean? Even getting out of character, like anger don't help. None of the ways you condition to respond to things. So you just gotta figure out how to get in where you fit in without playing yourself.
Now, when it comes to beating the game, because see, that's what I like to call that right there, Starlito, beating the game. You got all of these booby traps set up in the game for you to fail. Some folks might even try to bait you to try to get you to react in certain ways in the game to just try to knock you off track of what you got going on because they already understand your integrity. How do you still manage to maneuver through those booby traps, basically, in the game and maintain a career, which has allowed you to have longevity at the same damn time, man? Because, see, another thing is when you choose to go that independent route, you know, you can pick up your ball and go home, and ain't nobody gonna be too mad at you because it's all on you anyway. You see what I'm saying? But your fans, they ain't got time for that. You see what I'm saying? So you got to keep on pushing for them at the same time. So what is that like for you?
It's just that it's that war I was talking about. It's that battle, and you just gotta keep fighting. You lose the minute you quit, and I like to say you can't fail until you quit, and so it's always gonna be with devils or whatever you subscribe to or believe in. It's like it's always gonna be present. That's just like I said, and growing and learning from that is what reminds you that you are surviving.
Exactly.
Like, just not giving in. Like I got a lot of people that count on me and depend on me, even those that I don't know personally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a greater force than anybody trying to pull me down.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And the minute I can focus on that and not the opposite, focus on the greater and not the less than, I'll be all right.
Now, I mean, skipping around one more again, I mean, linking with that boy Don Tripp, putting together that Step Brothers project. Talk to me about y'all boys' camaraderie and chemistry, man.
It's like no other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we make superb music. We make great music. We have a new project on the way out.
Ooh.
Before the end of this year called Step Brothers for Life.
Oh, that's cold.
And because it'll be the fourth one.
Yeah.
So Step Brothers 4 in life. And I mean, it's just a blessing. It was just honestly a blessing and one I couldn't have seen coming.
Yeah.
We got a song that explores how we linked and all of that. We talked about it on a record on a new project. So I think people would take to that.
Exactly. I mean, the banger that y'all boys put together was that Caesar and Brutus. We were just talking about that one off the air, man. Talk to me about that one.
Yeah, it's real life.
Yeah.
It's real life. It's one of those things that even if if that's not your walk of life, you may not have experienced that. I think we talked about it, and obviously it takes from Shakespeare, Julius Caesar and Brutus story, that some of the same themes, but to modernize that, because it's still going on in the hood, is homies falling out over chicks or vice versa. It's chicks falling out over dudes, and a lot of stuff that probably if you just said it would have been less of a conflict if you put it out there and communicated it. It's one of the unspoken stuff, and to make a music video that really like brought the raps or the story to life, it was powerful. I mean, it's probably our biggest record to date, biggest highest numbers on the video and all of that. So.
Now, when you think about that music, though, like you said, when y'all boys are talking about what's on the news right now is that police brutality. You know, got me ready to take a knee one more time just in the studio on camera on your butt. My whole thing is, what are your thoughts about that? When you look up and you see the police killing folks for pretty much no reason.
Yeah, it's scary. It's pretty scary because, I mean, as far as I can see, they pretty much like the largest gang.
Yeah.
That's the way it ends up feeling a lot of times. Like, it's scary. I mean, I've talked about it on records. It feels like a broken record to speak about it as it's always current, it seems. But, you know, I do understand that on one level it's someone's job, so I don't want to, like, categorize every officer, every police officer as a murderer or what. Like, it ain't that cut and dry, but the idea that it continues to happen and it's recurring is just like, it's disturbing. You know, we just have all these people, all these students, all these kids marching about safety, gun crime, public safety, and XYZ. And the people that have the most and the highest authority with the guns almost sort of sometimes the most reckless, it seems. It's just scary, you know? Like, you don't want to get pulled over.
Come on, man.
Like,
there's never been a time in my life that I done got pulled over that I felt safe, happy, and like, oh, this is going to be an easy stop right here. Let me just go ahead and pull over right quick. It's like, nah, I don't know if I'm going to make it out of this situation alive tonight. Now, I did have one situation that I will say that was a good stop, and I was riding down Camerton Road. This was about a good 10 years ago, and I was stressed out like none other, and I ran a red light, and the officer pulled me over. He said, you know you just ran that light. And I looked that officer in his eye. I said, hey, man, I'm so damn stressed out right now. I don't even realize I ran that damn light. The officer looked me dead in my eye. He said, "Hey man, I feel your pain. Go ahead and go home." I said, "Appreciate you." Now that was the only one time because I was so stressed out. I was like, "I don't care what happens, even when he pulled me over." You see what I'm saying? But with that being said, I can say that every situation doesn't always turn out to be a negative situation. But the issue is that we having right now is that in too many cases you find young black males being massacred and murdered with no weapon in their damn hand. And that's what's really driving me crazy right now because no man that has no weapon should really have to deal with that kind of, use of force against them standing in their own backyard cooling out. You see what I'm saying? But on another note, you and that boy Kevin Gates, man, he always speaks highly of you. Talk about y'all relationship.
Yeah, it's mutual.
Yeah.
It's, respect, admiration, love. It's all mutual. I'm glad he's home.
Mm-hmm.
Glad he's home with his family. Able to get back to it. Yeah, I see and hear the same, and like I said, it's mutual. It's like family.
Exactly. Now, how much music do you catch yourself dropping every year, Starlito?
It depends, man. Like I look at music as a time capsule, as an opportunity for me to share my mind frame, whatever at that time, because that's even more so the age we in. Everybody kind of want to know up to the minute almost. So that's kind of help pace the output, and sometimes you got to live as an artist. You have to experience things to have something to rap about or write about or whatever it is. So I don't want to say, yeah, I'm going to drop this many projects at this point, but it's just how life comes along.
But you just said it just caught me, Starlito, is when you said you think of it as a time capsule. And see, what folks don't understand when you think of the word record, it's a recording of that moment in damn time, and nobody's recording what's going on at that time, except for you and a few other folks. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If nobody knew any better, you looked up and you woke up in the year 2058, they would have thought that we partied from 2001 to 2020. You see what I'm saying? Unless they were able to find your album and a few other albums. You see what I'm saying?
That's deep.
So talk to me about the importance of recording the now in your music.
Yeah, I read a book called The Power of Now, and it changed the way, and especially in the short term, it changed the way I approach making music. For that same thing you just spoke on, it's like all we got is right now, and if it's great right now, and I'm 19, 18, sneaking in the club, I'm drinking Grey Goose, and we jumping around, that's the song I'm gonna make.
That's right.
If I'm 22, 23, and don't know if I'm about to go away or get my head knocked off, I'm gonna make a little bit more world-weary music.
Exactly.
Or I lost my best friend, and I'm doing stuff to cope with it, and that's affecting my mental. That's the music I'm gonna make, Or if I grow a little wiser and figure out my way and make more money, I'm able to take care of people, and my conscience is a little bit more at ease.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a little bit more conscious music, and also everything along the way that shaped and formed who I am and who I'm becoming. That's the best I can do. When I was having migraine headaches and couldn't figure it out, and it was probably syrup, I made mental warfare. Not even really knowing what was the triggers or what was causing it or how to conquer it. But I probably had more people tell me that project changed their life, or they listened to it, or they was going through chemotherapy, or different treatments, or dealing with this on a family level or personally, and I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? It might have took me longer than them to turn that corner, but the music, and me putting that into what I was doing at that moment it changed something, like the butterfly effect, I believe.
Exactly. Now, Starlito, before you get out of here, man, I got a couple randoms I got to hit you with. That gone with that boy Young Dolph. Talk to me about that banger right there, man.
That was the first song that me and Dolph did together.
Yeah.
I think we probably recorded that 2011, something like that. We did some shows together around that time and put it together, and I think probably a few million views later, just pulling up.
Exactly. My love, Don Trip. Talk to me about that banger y'all put together.
Yeah, Greedy Money produced that.
Yeah.
He out of Nashville. It's
Okay.
one of my partners, one of my homies. Um, yeah, it was the Yo Gotti track,
Mm-hmm.
and I just took a liking to the track itself, and we just kind of wrote to the sample.
Yeah.
It was more inspired by the music than the beat we was jacking per se, but
Yeah.
that's cool to jack a beat
Mm-hmm.
for somebody you know and then grow legs and we performing and all that too. So that's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of Don, like I said, the music I make with Don Tripp, I feel like it's some of the best music. He bring the best out of me as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Work collaborating, so it's a dope record.
I can dig that. Lastly, what you got coming up next, my dog, and what do folks need to be looking out for, Starlito?
I'm working with Don Tripp and Step Brothers for Life, at War Myself Too, and a couple projects with my dog Mob Squad Nard out of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Working on one called Open Cases, unfortunately, and also Live from the Dice Game.
Oh, that's cold. That's cold.
And it'll be a short film to go with that one, so I'm just working.
Talk to me about hitting folks with them short films and stuff like that, though, man. Them visuals are also just impactful. So, I mean, what is your thought process when you say, you know what, man, let me go ahead and give y'all the film to go with the game, too?
That's how I fell in love with all this stuff. It was like, I don't think I would nearly be the Ice Cube fan were it not for the combination of NWA or, America's Most Wanted, et cetera, Death Certificate, were it not for Boys in the Hood and Later Friday and otherwise. So I always want to take it to another level. Like, I'm just a self-taught kind of person. Like, anything I pay somebody for, I want to learn I want to figure out how they do it or what their job is. And it's just kind of taking a liking to that. I figure when I'm finished making music, I got the brain power to bring a vision to life visually or whatever. So I'm trying to learn it, honestly. I'm trying to use this music and the tools I got, the resources I got with this to leverage that into something else, be it film or otherwise, and even just knowing the business of it to be able to get behind the scenes and make some things happen. So I use this as a vessel for that.
I can dig that. Which leads me to another question I got to ask right quick. Being in the game as long as you've been in it, with all of this digital stuff going on, which made it easier for you to be able to maneuver independently, what was going through your mind when you had to learn all of that new part of the game as far as the marketing and the streaming and everything like that? But then you also realized that just through social media, you had a big-ass platform that you can blast out your music your damn self.
Honestly, I feel like I'm here because I'm one of the people that saw it coming. And that's not patting myself on the back. It's just survival. Like I said, survival instincts. I never saw it as a hindrance. Like, you gotta think, I began my career on the tail end of the crunk era, and then at a point survived the ringtone era, if you will, and then it turned into servicing music directly to people, and which then turned into streaming. So I went from pressing vinyl records and pressing tens of thousands of compact discs to trying to get people to a link or to a site or to a page and to purchase.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's like, now you got to get them to subscribe or whatever else. Like, the catalyst through all that is the content, the artist, the work, or whatever. Like, I'm the best there is at being me.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Focusing in on that, it's like you learn the rest of it. You figure out how to get that stuff out there. Like I said, I'm 19 years old at a record plant, like vinyl records where they melting wax and making records. So I could ship them to people like you or Hope to be able to knock on the door downstairs and hand you a record.
Exactly.
So from that to click a button or we can make a song tonight and put it out tonight, like, it's different, and I never saw it as a hindrance. Every step of the way, even when the times change, like, even with ringtones, like, oh, we only got to get them to tap in for 30 seconds.
Exactly.
I only got to get 30 seconds worth of content, and that's worth as much as the whole song.
Whew.
It seemed like a dream till it waters down the content. I just never saw myself short, never saw myself out. Like, even when I was trying to learn that, it was like, all right, what's next? Well, let me get out ahead of the curve. And like you said, social media, I probably had a blessing of being the same person on the offline. So that don't really, it's not like something in my way or something that's gonna tear me down. And I'm maybe smart enough to buffer certain things or know that everything don't belong there. Or everything ain't for public consumption. So
Exactly.
I'm just learning.
I can dig it. Lastly, how can they contact you, my dog?
Grindhard.com. That'd be the best, man.
Okay.
Everything's there.
Social
pretty
medias?
much. Yeah, all of it's there. You get to grindhard.com, it'll send you where you're supposed to be.
I can dig it. Starlito.
Appreciate you, man.
Man, appreciate you, my dog. Wish you nothing but the best and much success. Beehive Radio, shout it. It's Hot 107.9, man. Let's go.